Welcome to your magic moon message, ladies and gentlemen. This is the peace dealer. The moon is in Aries and the sun is in Capricorn. So as the moon reaches 90 degrees to the sun, the seeds we planted in the new moon, so cold, baby. The seeds we planted during the new moon are breaking through the ground. In this next cardinal sign, as they will integrate before we harvest it during the full moon. This is going to be exceptionally exciting because chances are people who don't know you think they know you. People who have judged you based off of experiences from the outside looking in, without any real or thorough analysis of who you are going to be terrified and shocked simultaneously as a much more authentic understanding of yourself breaks through the mold. And now this authentic understanding aligns more of a character definition of literal supernatural God power you are beginning to integrate. And given the cardinal nature of Capricorn and Aries, it's the actions that do the talking, which will really abruptly end a lot of BS. People who don't like you or mean well towards you have believed and thought about you, which is a really honorable thing to do, to disappoint the expectations placed on you, as the idea of you that's not really you is going to further get murked. Once again, just through a shift in the nature of the actions you're taking and a much more raw and authentic understanding of who you are in taking these actions. Okay? This is where you don't want to get too caught up on narratives. They're very expertly well-crafted narratives about pretty much everything. And you share into this relative to any made-up narratives about you, where you don't want to get too caught up going back and forth trying to disprove false narratives where your actions are already doing so. And in staying tuned to what you're already doing, knowing that that's actually real and can't be threatened, it's going to give you a further advantage relative to the demolition of these carefully constructed narratives that, if anything, were always just a stopgap measure created by the insecure in order to feel better than somebody. Okay? Once again, especially now that the moon has left Aquarius, there's a knowledgeable understanding of what you're doing, and this is geared towards understanding who you are. Something that someone else with a different belief system can reframe entirely different, lacking necessary context that puts this truly into the shape of what it is. So that's where it is quite literally beneath you to now go out your way to try and prove to people who don't know what they're talking about who you are, where once again your actions are not only going to do that for you, but it's going to disappoint certain individuals or people who felt that they had an advantage over you, reluctantly having to come to the realization that they never knew what they were talking about, which is actually, once again, like I said before, very exciting. Lita 444. As I say this, right, look at the license I see. Okay, I'm not like a 444 angel number junkie, but it's safe to say there's angelic influence and protection here, and it's 444 minutes that just passed by when I said that. I didn't plan that. So yeah, with that being said, as long as you remember that there's still so much that the average person or anyone really doesn't even really perceive or can perceive. Keep that in mind as you hear the certainty of people putting conviction around things that they don't even know. The tantrums that overgrown adults acting like children will express when they're having to face the fact that they were wrong about certain things they've attached their beliefs to, and in identifying with those beliefs feel like they're being attacked just because they're wrong about something. All right. 777 on that license plate, jackpot. I love it. Keep them coming. And I promise you, I'm not like a license plate looker, but these is just showing itself to me. So really look at the reflection of any uncomfort. The reason why I'm bringing up outside influences and conflict is whenever we have squares, whenever we have oppositions, they primarily deal with outside influences or open enemies. So with Mars that's coming back into Cancer, and then the square of the moon at 29 degrees that will hit Mars at 29 degrees, your collective awareness of all the world's issues and your place in it are clashing with your original understanding of yourself in the way you understand yourself, other than the way others choose to perceive you. None of which really matters as much as it may be pushed to, if anything, just to manipulate or influence you by shame or guilt. So the key here is to harp on more of idiosyncrasies and facets of yourself that may invariably piss off other people and may frustrate other people once again because of their inability to control you through that. All right. I don't want to put this transit out here like it's just some bad transit you have to be careful of, but that square that will include Chiron in the North Node will take into account ego, vulnerabilities, and how well you don't find yourself in a place reacting, but being the one being reacted towards. And what I mean by that is you don't want to be too reactive towards, ignorance or negativity projected towards you, as this integration is now a fine opportunity to shift and correct the way you deal with such projections from other people. We started the transit off with Moon in Libra. Remember, we started this transit off with Moon in Libra, and now 2 weeks later, the moon is opposite in Aries. So the social understanding of our integrity that had us gain social context relative to the spaces we inhabit and how that influences the direction we take that is now giving us a much more authentic, raw, and original understanding, bearing with that social context, how we feel individually about this. And that not only injects this sense of authenticity that you are able to now color in the lines with, but it's getting you ready to unlock the original power with the North Node in Aries. You were quite literally destined to unveil. All right? As once the moon goes into Cancer, it's going to connect with Mars in Cancer, Infinity Gang, and that's going to really align you more to where you're directing these assertive feelings and emotions and how you feel about what you want to do with them and with who you want to do it with. So before that, before you feel comfortable or convicted taking necessary action with the right people, we have to sort through and integrate how authentic you feel and how comfortable you feel being this level of authentic around certain people, around yourself. All right. Once again, we literally activated another year around God power. So the Aries moon integration is, okay, how do I feel about this newly activated power, and what direction, how do I integrate and begin to tie it together now that I'm understanding the identity of this new power I've activated and who I am in utilizing it. That's where the North Node that is pretty much getting ready to enter Pisces is kicking off this Moon in Aries transit, and not only once again tapping into the unlocking of this original power, but activating a raw feeling around what it is you're doing to integrate and utilize this next frontier and era of your own capability, actualizing the elements of your potential. Okay, so whereas this narrative reframing gameplay is at place, I'll use myself as an example. I'm one of the few people who were able to take astrology in an era and period where everywhere from mainstream science to religion looks at this as a pseudoscience and looks at us as con artists and scam artists. And I was able to show you magic with it. I am still and was able to produce receipts relative to a plethora of things that I said would happen and within 6 months happened. Collectively with world events and individually with the thousands of clients who I've had the honor of serving. So anyone that tries to, fling that narrative on me consistently, we know that everyone who says that has never read their natal chart. They don't know their moon sign. They're stupid. By definition, speaking on something you have no experience with, that's really what that is. But I don't have to argue with people saying, no, I'm not a fraud, because my actions do the talking. At any point, I can shut any of them up and just read their chart and demonstrate to them that whatever they think I am is not even based in reality. Where in reality, I have like literally over 3,000 natal charts in my astro.com account. And I'm not saying any of this to brag. I'm saying just like I have this understanding, you have this understanding in your respective field and what it is you're personally doing, and how at this stage there has been near every attempt to delegitimize and see you as less than you are, only for it to fail. And that kind of frustration from influences who can't really manipulate you or coerce you now reveal their true colors. And in seeing what identity they blossom, this is where, as your actions continue to do the talking, you recognize that no matter how things are framed in order to once again construct narratives to make a situation look like what it's not, that doesn't affect you, because what's real can't be threatened, and what's real is the work you've been putting in. Even with this new moon, we have effectively activated this universal power. So now we're integrating a personal, individual understanding. Now that we've activated this irrigation ditch, this is your personal sink that taps into the collective water pool that everyone else taps in, but the way you customize your sink is going to be as individual to you. Then the moon's going to go into Taurus, and then we're going to naturally ground stronger quality relative to what we began to integrate and what seeds broke through the ground. So tap into that rawness. Be okay with clashing and rubbing off certain people the wrong way, pause. And don't be in a position to feel ashamed about any action you take that you are authentically in integrity in taking. You can stand on, and you actually want to be okay if that makes certain people angry, because it's letting you know the ways in which you're challenging false beliefs and opinions. And if that doesn't work, just tell them to suck your dick. So you stay blessed as always, and until next time, peace.